Hi, everybody. Welcome to Fridays with Sue and Steph, but don't get confused. It's Thursday. Do not get confused. We swapped out Friday for Thursday because tomorrow I'm going to be talking to an expert who is only available on Fridays to talk about how do we talk to our kids about school shootings.
Yeah.
So I thought it was an important enough conversation to swap out Thursday for Friday, but don't get confused. Don't walk around all day today. We'll feel terrible if you're
We
like,
never have Thursday, Sue.
we don't.
Our weeks are Mondays and Fridays. I don't even think this day exists.
Yeah, it's true. We go from Monday to Friday very quickly.
Yeah.
So today we decided we're going to be braggers. But I first wanted to just bring up with you, Steph, like this idea, you and I have talked about this before, how it's first of all, it's a really fine line, bragging. You have to you can't always get away with bragging. Like you have to kind of maybe be a little self-deprecating or have some humor in there, whatever. But on social media, I have this strong sense that the further away you get from my inner ring, the more you're rooting for me. And I don't know if that's
said that. I totally agree with that.
Oh, good. Because I often wonder, is it anecdata? So my favorite word,
it's a good word, but I actually think it's more than anecdata. It might be data.
Okay, at least right now. But the thing is, when I get to have a glimpse of like a college friend's life that I wouldn't otherwise know, I'm so happy to hear about the successes of their kids. But there's no competition in that relationship between our kids and their kids and who got something at the expense of my kid. And I know that people will say, no, I just root for everybody. And if you're that type of person, you go. Like, that is unbelievable. Mm-hmm. But it comes up a lot around, like, for example, college acceptance time, where some people are just like, I root for everybody. But some people just get overwhelmed by the amount of goodness going up there that they're not sharing in. Yeah. Like if they have a kid who hasn't gotten in anywhere, it might be overwhelming for them and they might not be cheering. Anyway,
kid not going to college.
Yeah, kid makes a different choice and it's just hard. And it's a choice you wish they weren't making. Like you wanted them to go to college. Like there's so many places in the story where the bragging can be received differently. And like the range of the relationship can kind of dictate that a little bit. Anyway, so we are offering a little bragging today with what we hope will be received well and in the spirit of why not? Yeah. Why not? Sometimes it's okay to just brag a little bit. So we'll ping pong back and forth. So my first one, so I have over the years tried to develop like how do I tell my kids that I'm going to need their help. Especially around a holiday, and Thanksgiving is always a big one for me where there's a lot of volatility and a lot of it comes from me. And so I warn my kids.
Good ownership.
What?
Good ownership.
Well, mostly because I'm the one getting angry in the kitchen while they're playing games and having a blast, as I want to be part of also.
Yeah.
So I told everybody like, hey, tomorrow I'm going to want everyone's help for an hour. I thought, pretty reasonable. And I set the expectation out and everybody nodded, of course. And then I said the next day, hey, can you help me now? And everyone said, I'm not right now. And it pushed me from like here to, well, you can't see as high as it went, but you can see that my arms up there.
You can imagine it. You can imagine.
I went there so fast, and I was like, okay, take a breath. You don't want to start the holiday out like this. Like you can do it. And so I just, turned around and started, cooking in the kitchen, getting ready, prepping, whatever. And little by little, they made their way back in the kitchen on their own timeline and said, okay, at various points, like, what can I do to help? And at some point I had everyone in the kitchen and someone turned on music and it was the dream I had. It was the dream of having a big family all in the kitchen with music, cooking, and just having fun. And so I had a stumbling, challenging start to it.
Yeah.
Then a braggy finish.
Yeah, I love the braggy finish. Okay, that's good. So my first one is, and I think they're thematic. The dog. Thematic.
The dog is here because the other dog is scaring the dog. So.
Oh, I thought the other dog you already got given up to.
No. So Well, we have a service dog that Jacob is. Well, that was my other story.
Oh, okay. I won't say anything. Okay.
Okay,
All
I'll
right,
tell
we'll
you
get to
after.
it. We'll get to it.
Tell yours.
Okay. So I feel like mine all have this theme of the kind of like when you weren't looking, because I realized that after I wrote them down. Okay. So my first one is, so Todd's dad passed away when Ethan, our second child, was little. So we didn't even have our third. Okay. So my point being that my kids, only one really kind of knew his grandpa. Okay. But Todd's done a really good job, I think, like keeping his memory alive and sharing lots of stories. So over the last 2 months, packages keep arriving from his dad's widow, and it's been a long time, like 20 years, whatever. She must be cleaning out some things and going through and photos and stuff. So every few days, a package arrives, photos, other memorabilia, whatever. I mean, it's like Todd keeps saying, like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. So the kids, everybody was away. So Todd was texting like pictures of things and showing, and the kids' reactions were so, it kind of took my breath away, because it wasn't a, oh, that's so cool, or I love that picture. It was, Dad, I'm so glad you got these.
Oh, that is nice.
Right? Like it was that moment where they were like stepping out of themselves, and they're growing up, right? And so seeing, like, understanding how meaningful and what that was for Todd, and just the way they each felt that for him, it kind of took my breath away.
That is a beautiful one.
Mm.
But they're people, and they see us as people, right?
Yes, totally.
Okay, so I want to remind everybody that it is actually Thursday. Don't get confused. We just had to swap for tomorrow, where we're going to be talking to an expert about how we talk to our kids about school shootings. And if you're on right now and you have a bragging moment that you want to chat, we would love to brag with you. Yeah. So share your brag moments. So I have a dog on my lap. She's my dog. I love her. She's so delicious. And my son, this is a real brag moment. My son took a dog. Like, I think they do this at a lot of college towns, where you can train a service dog for the first year, and then the dog gets trained for the specific disability of the owner who's going to get that dog. So he did it during COVID, and the dog is currently at our house because of some plans getting canceled due to COVID, whatever. So we have the dog here. And this little dog doesn't like the other big dog. Well, she doesn't like dogs, period. But her heart is pounding so hard right now against me. So she's getting a protective hug from her mommy. Anyway, like, to watch my son take care of a dog, and to see the nurturing, and to know, like, he's going to be a good dad one day if he gets to be a father or wants to be a father. Like, he's really nurturing, and he's like a typical kid who wants to sleep in late, and if you talk to him in the morning, he is like miserable to you. But he gets up with that dog when the dog wakes up to take the dog out for a walk, and doesn't complain, and took on the full responsibility. And I don't know. I just have this.
Knowing he has to give the dog, throw in.
Yeah.
He has to give that dog away.
Well, there's a little delusion there. He can't wait to give the dog back, because it's such a big responsibility to be a college kid who, every time you travel, you have to make plans and blah, blah, blah. But it is a big commitment that has developed into a like BFF kind of. I think in a lot of ways got him through COVID. Yeah. And so he's going to feel the loss deeply, but he's also going to be relieved. So
that is a really good one.
Yeah.
That's a showstopper, as we call it. I love that one. In fact, I think we have to come over later and meet that dog, because I haven't.
Oh my God!
After, I think, and Lane's home, I think we may be making a little visit later.
He's worth it. He's worth it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, here's one, and again, it's like kind of like the behind the scenes one. When I have found out from one of the kids, and there's lots of examples, like the support a sibling gave a sibling, and I find it out. You're smart. You've been there, right? Where like, they tell, and it comes out in a weird, and it's definitely not in their braggy way, because you find out about it way later. Someone says something, and then you're like, wait, what were you talking about when you said Oh yeah, no, he was really struggling with that, and I talked to him for a while. Actually, a story just came up as I was taking one to the airport this morning, and he was repeating it, and I was like, I think I knew. I feel like I'd forgotten about it, but again, it wasn't something I knew at the time.
Uh-huh.
Heard it later, forgot about it for a long time, and then it just came up in the context of something else, and I was like, oh my god, it's like what we live for, right?
Well, it's so brag-worthy because what do we pray? We pray that
Oh my god.
I mean, we hope that first of all we will die, but they will outlive us, and then they will be each other's support. And you get you get evidence of it that like they do like whether they fight now and then, whatever, they've got each other's back. You have
Right. My aunt, my dad's sister, who is 94. Yeah, I think 94. She always says she had two boys. One unfortunately passed some years ago, but she used to always say, may I live to the day where they actually don't want to kill each other. And they were so close. Like, it's so funny. Like, all she wanted was for them to maybe be in a room together, right? Yeah. And they grew so close. And you think, wow, like, did not see that coming.
Yeah, I don't know. Even in my nuclear family, like, there's been
like that family you grew up in, you're saying?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm. The siblings didn't, we just didn't always do a great job together, and that's been changing a lot lately, which is so nice. It's just like I don't know, like a new friendship with a sibling. There's nothing.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. Okay, so we wanted to also, guys, share with us in the comments. Someone be brave enough to put the first one in there of like something you want to tell us about your kids, and we're going to revel in that with you. So we're also going to do a little bragging as parents, because when do we get to do that?
Yeah, totally.
That's really unacceptable. Okay, so the first one is, I have coffee every Friday with two friends. It's been going on for years. And our conversations change so much over the years because, in different stages of our kids and our marriages. And so we started to realize that we had to hold back on what we said to our kids. Now, that's probably a good idea for any age, but it wasn't one that we were so aware of when they were younger. And so we started to really like say to each other, I'm so proud of myself that I wanted to say this and I didn't say it. And so we turned it into an activity. Like when we get together, we report what thoughts did we have when our kids did something crazy to us? What behaviors did they exhibit that we wanted to just help them improve themselves, and how we saw that was not going to be fruitful.
Are you guys like crying, laughing when you're?
Yeah. Well, we first we high five each other.
Yeah.
Like, here's the story, and
way to go us.
Here is the restraint, like tremendous restraint I showed in that moment. High five, move on. Anyway, that is like those moments. They're hard, and they deserve praise.
Yes. I was thinking that. I just had a conversation with a friend about when she was asking the therapist, when are you allowed to say something to a kid about like their relationship or like significant other? The answer was basically never. But there was one small caveat that had like a danger element to it. But we were kind of laughing about it. I'm like, okay, and do not confuse that with the when do you want?
Look, Steph.
Oh,
okay. Jody says she's still waiting for her kids to surprise her.
That is so not true.
And you need to think of one right now, because now we gave you a shout out here and we want to share it. So get on there and
tell us. If not, I'm going to share it because there was one recently and I know it. And I was just going to say, it's so funny. The one thing I wrote down on the top of my sheet of paper was one friend. Make sure you have at least that one friend where you can have that brag moment, because it's so funny, because that's what like Jody and I'll say to each other, like, okay, it's you.
All right. So do you have a mom? Do you have a mom brag moment while we're waiting for Jody to
I didn't have a mom brag moment necessarily that lines up with like your that That was your restraint, right? Your ability to show restraint was your
Yeah, but
mom
that
brag.
was just, I mean, I have other brag moments. I just was hesitant to say it. This one seemed a little bit like a not real brag.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, no, I have a good mom brag moment. I have a good one. So our this is like our Friday night dinner thing. Like our kids have been really well conditioned to all three of them to clean up after the meal. Like I've, slaved in the kitchen, Todd's been a temple, right? Whatever. Like that they all get up and people are always like, man, your kids are good cleaner uppers. I was like, well, do you want me to list all the things they're not good at? But like,
That's what we have to do as mothers. We can't just like you can own that moment. I know over the years that I've been so impressed that your kids get up and clean. So you could just own that one.
Okay, I'll just own it. Right.
Good parenting, good kids. Yay,
Yeah,
Steph.
yeah. No. Right.
High
That's a
five.
good one.
High five. However,
right.
This is backwards.
Exactly. Where is it? Where is it? No. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. But you know what? I was thinking about this whole topic, and I was saying I had written down a couple other things on here, but I was thinking why, I'm sure it's a, lay on the couch with the therapist moment, or why we're not allowed to brag. Like, why do all of mine have the heading of when I'm not looking or when I'm not expecting or when, do you know what I'm saying? Like they all have that flavor. The things I listed, is it because I have low expectations? Like why is it that they will all fit in there?
Well, I don't know about your reason, but when I'm hearing you say it, I think that those touch us so deeply. When we didn't navigate, we didn't we didn't choreograph it or architect it, and it happened. And it's just it's such happiness producing to be like a visitor in their world and go like, wow. Like, I mean, one of the stories about my kids is that they just really got involved in social justice in a very profound way, and they don't tell me. And so sometimes I just hear about something that someone did, and I'm like so moved by like how independent and change the world they are. And they don't check in. They don't check in and say,
look what I did.
I was thinking about this. Do you think it's a good idea? Okay, we have to take a station break. Hold on. Jeff, you read it.
Okay. My mom brag moment recently, not joking, has been my ability to realize when I've had a bad parenting moment in real time, try to own that. It helps that kids are in adult space and we can have that conversation. Oh, that's good.
Yay, Jody.
We're
Jody. Giving you snaps for Jody.
Well, and Sue, it's so funny. The next thing on my list I wrote, when I hear about an interaction that someone had with my kid at their work, right? So my kid's not repeating it.
Yeah.
I'm hearing it from someone else. They'll be like, oh my God, I didn't know your kid worked at blah, blah. Like they blotty-blottied, right? And you're like, oh, yeah. It is. I remember someone saying to me when the kids were little, just going back a long time, they said, your kids, who they are in your home is not who they are in the world. I'm like, what does that mean? Like I never understood it until they started to get older and older. And you're like, oh, right. Yeah. It's like they get to be who they're in the dynamic of the household. Say it again.
You go to parent-teacher conferences and you're like, I mean, I have literally said to a teacher, do you have the right, like one of my kids switched schools and they were telling me all these wonderful things. And I said, I know this is like an awkward thing to say and no parent should say it, but I don't know you and you don't know me. Do you have the right folder?
You're like, I'm sure you don't have the right folder.
I mean, I was pretty sure. But then when it was my kid, I started crying. I was like, oh my God.
But I love your comment. I love your comment about things touching us deeply. And it's funny. The kids, here's my anti-brag moment. So my kids will say that I am, one in particular, will say that I am dramatic, that I am needy. And when she says, but I'm like, it's funny. I've gone like 52 years. People typically don't describe me as dramatic. It's not something. And then when I've asked said child about it, they will say, no. Like you're dramatic, like things, you'll cry easily. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's not dramatic. That's like things touch me deeply. So that's so in sync with
Yeah, but that's a good parenting moment where you, rather than walking away hurt or like, like really irritated
like
with
the
your
90
kid.
times I did before that, and on the 91st, I try and finally asked. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, well, however many times
Yeah.
it gives the other person, like it's such good modeling also to say that felt bad. Like, what do you mean by that? No one ever says that about me. And then it
Yeah.
turns out it's a whole different thing that they're describing.
Totally. I'm like, oh wait, I am that. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
So the this is just funny. We talk about this all the time, and I it's not really. I think it is a brag moment. I think both you and I have really internalized this advice over the years, which is, when a kid comes to you and tells you a problem, our response can be, "Do you want me to listen or do you want me to help?"
Yeah.
And then, a similar one is, "Mom, can you read this paper? And do you want me to read it or do you want me to edit it?" And so I've never had a time where my kids couldn't come up with the answer to that question,
Yeah.
and they even didn't appreciate. They really appreciate what the pause of going, why am I down this path right now? I just want you to support me. I don't want you to solve my problem.
Mhm.
And it works really well. So
Yeah, we did learn that, and it's a good one. And in fact, I'll even get when it's handed to me, go at it, or right. So like now they've learned I'm going to ask it. So it's really funny. It is
yeah,
funny.
I had it reversed on me because I was purchasing a rug and my kid wanted a picture of it. So I sent a picture and they said, "Did you buy it?
Oh, that is
Or you're
hilarious.
asking my opinion?" And I was like, "Touche, and it's purchased. So I'm not really caring how you thought about it."
It's
Right?
really funny.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
really funny. No,
Yeah.
I think these are I think these are really interesting. It is so hard, like you said, like the balance of we're allowed to feel good about them. We spend enough time as mothers feeling bad about stuff, even stuff we shouldn't feel bad about. So it's so good and so healthy to have that. It's just hard. It's hard
Well,
to
I
find
think
the space.
there's so many caveats around it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we all must know people who do it to excess, and
Yeah.
no one really appreciates that. That feels like, are you doing the thing so you can talk about having done the thing so someone could say you're such a good person, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is, I mean, there is a kind of central place where some people find a perfect balance. And Stephanie and I were talking just about how this one person we know who does such a good job at it, like it's just always a little funny and then a little rooting for her kid. And you're right with her rooting for that kid because it wasn't presented as my expert in glass
Yeah.
blowing just delivered, and you're like, your kid is 11. How do you become an expert at glass blowing at 11? Like, so yeah, it is rough. We hope today we captured that healthy balance, and we're so grateful for Jody. Yay,
Hey, Jody.
Jody. And then guys, if you've got middle school and high school kids, tomorrow's going to be really valuable, talking about how do we talk to them about school shootings, which seem to be just a regular incidence and scary for them. So thanks everyone for being here with us. Have a good week. I don't think
Bye.
we'll be here next week. I think
Sure.
we're on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
Oh, wait a minute. No, it's Christmas.
Yeah. Right. It's
No,
it's
it's
no,
24th.
it's
It's
Christmas
Christmas
Eve.
Eve day.
Yeah. So we're not going to be here next week, but we'll let you know when we're back. Bye, everybody. Have a good holiday season.